What is a life hack that seems fake, but is a true lifesaver? If you're having trouble staying awake in class at a meeting, see how long you can keep one of your feet lifted slightly off the ground. If a man is in an accident, car, ladder fall, etc., and he gets an erection, don't move him. He has a spinal injury. During pollen season, rinse your hair before bed. Otherwise, you're just depositing pollen on your pillowcase every night, and then rolling your face in it all night. And then multiply that by how many nights you use the same pillowcase. Rubbing vegetable oil, or any cooking oil, on your hands after you cut up jalapenos or other hot peppers. It gets rid of the awfulness that would normally be left on your hands from the peppers. I rub my hands with oil and then wash it off with dish soap. I can totally remove my contacts after doing this. It's crazy how well this works. That rubbing alcohol removes chewing gum. I'd go through a 20-layer deep marketing funnel to get to that tip, because it really does work. True lifesaver: if you were ever attacked by a dog, push your forearm into the bite. This pries the jaws apart and prevents them from clamping down. If a dog is attacking you, the best thing you can do is offer your forearm. Push as far back as possible, and then grab the dog by the scruff of its neck with your other hand to hold it. The dog is now functionally muscled and you have control of its head. The sooner and harder you push into the bite, the less damage the bite will do. Yell at your vacuum cleaner to get your dogs to stop barking at it. If your ring gets stuck on your finger, Windex will slide it right off. Worked at a jewelry store for 5+ years. Using your turn signal actually can help other drivers know which direction you plan to go, and makes driving safer for everyone. Whenever you accidentally set off your smoke alarm, give your pets a treat so they learn to come to you when there actually is a fire and you need to escape. If you have the right of way, take it. It makes driving more predictable and therefore caused fewer accidents. Yes. Don't be nice. Be predictable. Counting really slowly with the goal of reaching 150 is a decent way to fall asleep. If you have any thoughts during it, just let them play out. And if you forget what number you're on, just go from which you last remember. If you make any major movements, just start again. The goal is to force your brain into slowing down and not having any jerky motions or thoughts, and eventually reaching such a level of carelessness that you eventually fall asleep without realizing. Helped me quite a few times, especially with rain sounds. Hope it helps some of you too. If your car is overheating, turn your heat on full blast. When you turn the heat on in a car, it pulls heat from the engine into the cab, thus cooling the engine. I was taught this in driver's ed 23 years ago. When in high school my buddy's car would run really hot, I told him to turn the heat on. He wouldn't. I had to convince him it was true by saying I would pay for resulting damage if the temp didn't go down. It was the winter time, and that heat was so dang hot we had to roll the windows down. But we watched his engine temp drop. I don't believe it's especially uncommon, but if no one ever told you, it would seem counterintuitive. Makeup remover on deodorant stains. Vixella randomly brought it up while talking to Chad on Twitch. My husband has a lot of t-shirts with white stained armpits, so I gave it a shot. It worked. From the amazing book The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBucker. A woman alone who needs assistance is actually far better off choosing someone and asking for help, as opposed to waiting for an unsolicited approach. The person you choose is nowhere near as likely to bring you hazard as is the person who chooses you. Run your wrists under cold water, or rub an ice cube on your pulse points to cool down all over quickly when you get overheated. It seems obvious, but I didn't realize it until last summer working in a warehouse with no AC. Smell is closely associated with memory. If you're studying for an exam, buy an odd-scented eraser, like pickle scent. Every time you try to memorize something, take a sniff. Take that eraser to the test and sniff it when you're having trouble remembering an answer. If you eat something super spicy, take some petroleum jelly and spread it on your asshole before you shit. It will keep you from feeling like you shitting lava. If you start to cough while eating or drinking, essentially the went down the wrong pipe. Immediately lift both your arms up in the air and keep them held up for a few seconds. The act opens your airways and will allow you to catch your breath. Also helps food or drink travel downward. My mill taught us this and it's now second nature. Edit. Change choke to cough. The Heimlich maneuver should be used if someone has food stuck. Put your onion in the freezer for 10 minutes before chopping it. It freezes the juices just enough to slow down the process of it turning into a gas, giving you a few minutes to chop the onion without tears. I learned this tip from a kids' science show years ago, and I haven't had to deal with onion tears since. So many people don't believe me, and then are genuinely surprised when it works. If you feel suicidal or depressed, don't focus on hope. It is enough to just stay curious. Curiosity has the power to keep you alive far longer than hope ever will. Curiosity leads to engaging work, and this leads to opportunity. If you've got a splinter below your skin surface, wrap a banana peel around it. Wet side against your skin. It will draw the splinter out most of the time. I don't know how, but it frickin' works. Banana voodoo. Banavadoo. Banadoo? Sleep on big decisions. You think most clearly in the morning, and often after some time passes you realize you were about to make a big mistake. I saw a comment on one of these kind of threads that recommended gently rocking back and forth while pooping. I've never had any problems in the bathroom, but I happened to be sitting on the toilet when I read the comments, so I decided to give it a test drive. I was pleasantly surprised at how quick and effortless the whole experience was, and I haven't gone back to my old stationary technique since. As a bonus, number 1 and number 2 now require the same amount of time in the bathroom. Lighting spaghetti on fire to light candles, the big ones, instead of using paper. If you have a dishwasher, I'm sure you're familiar with the vague annoyance of pools of water being left on your dishes. After the cycle is done, grab a clean towel and hang it flat on the inside of the door and close gently. Don't slam it. It's okay to be open a crack still. And wait about 30 minutes. Your dishes will be completely dry. Edit. You should do this as close to the finish in the cycle as possible when it's still warm inside. Might be really esoteric, but when I moved out on my own, I took the modem and internet service provider with me, but the account stayed under my mother's name. I thought it'd be fine, but last year they jacked up the bill from $70 to over $100. So I canceled the account, opened one in my name with the same ISP, and got a shiny new customer package that was the exact same internet speed for $50. I felt so big-brained when it worked. Mosquito bites be gone. This hack is the most valuable thing I've learned in my whole life. Heat the back of the spoon with hot water. Then apply the back of the spoon to the bite. I usually do it twice for good measure. The spoon needs to be hot enough to keep on the skin without burning yourself. So test the heat before you press it down. Keep it on until the heat dissipates. Bite will stop itching almost immediately. Usually the bite hot completely disappeared within an hour. This only works with mosquitoes from my experience. Every Malay should know this. If you want to get rid of an awkward boner, flex any muscle in your body, maybe an arm, for a minute. The blood will rush to that muscle and away from your dick. Crises averted. If you stand up too fast and your head starts to spin, rush, blackout. Tighten your abs as hard as you can and it'll help drastically reduce the head rush. You can also do it preemptively to help stop it before it even happens.